Hello. Welcome into A Terrible Football Show. This is episode 38. I'm Alex Latt with SparkE3. Hopefully you're having a phenomenal day, whatever day you're watching. If you're watching this live alongside of us, hey, how you doing? If you're watching after the fact, we appreciate you. If you're listening to us on one of the many audio platforms that we're on, we appreciate the hell of you for that. But we do question why you're not watching us live over at youtube.com/SparkE3. Make sure to give us a like on the live stream, subscribe to the channel, be a friend, tell a friend. And as you can see, I don't have the boys with me. Shane had something pop up, Ricky had something pop up, but fear not, the show must go on. I actually have a special guest here today. He was on the draft spectacular that we had. He called in, a Dallas Cowboys fan. As you can see with his jersey, we have Jacob returning to A Terrible Football Show with video this time to admire his beautiful beard and listen to that luscious voice. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me. It's nice to be the, third stringer.
Hey, man, just got to throw that Hail Mary. You caught it. That's great. Hopefully we can get you on the show more going forward. Have a great time. Man, we have a lot to talk about today, honestly and truthfully. Like, we really do. Like this was such an insane weekend for college football. And then, of course, the NFL came back with its week one. Had a lot of insane shit happen this weekend. There is so much to chat about here today, and I'm so pumped for it. I actually have some notes from Ricky that Ricky wants me to shout out in this show since he's not going to be here. Ricky, also being a diehard Cowboys fan, I know he wanted to go on a massive rant, but unfortunately he's not going to be here to go on that rant.
Don't worry, I'll be able to rant for both of us.
Yeah, Ricky, Jacob's got you covered. It's all good. It's all good. So of course, make sure to check out like our sponsors like Rogue Energy, Wayward Beard Company, and make sure to stay tuned. We have some stuff in the works with that Ancient Ink we signed the partnership with. Started doing some designing just this week. We do have the ATFS customizable jerseys. That's gonna happen, and I'm pumped. It is the perfect time to launch that. It's going to be sick. I cannot wait for it. Of course, join the Discord where you can come in and chat with us. Just join the Discord. Join ATFS Draft Queue. We'll pull you up on the show, chat with you as well as follow us over at social media. Sign up to the website, SparkE3.com, all that good stuff. All right, with that said, I think I'm going to go ahead and turn down the music so we can actually kind of jump into some stuff because we got a lot to cover. We got a lot to cover today. There's so much to chat about. It's unreal.
There's a lot.
Man, dude, it's insane. Shout out to Steve in the chat. Cowboys fan, sad face. I'm sorry, Jacob. He's not it is what it is. And to be fair, I was just talking. All right, Steve, you need to relax. Let's cover those Seahawks. I was just chatting with him yesterday, and he was just like, I don't know, man. I think the Seahawks are going to come out swinging. And I was like, nah, man. Russ is going to cook all over them. And we see what happened. Anyway, let's start off with some prediction standings in our pools that we're doing, which Jacob is a part of both of them. We'll start with college. So week 2 results. Shane came out. Shane had a very good week, 12-3. Jacob, you went 10-5. Shout out. Me, Iggy, Ricky, and Tyler all went 9-6. Brady and Steve both went 7-8. Up at top, Tyler and Shane are both tied in first, 22-8. 22-8. I'm not worried about Tyler as my story last week. I'll get Zach to talk about Tyler, and Tyler will fall off the map. That's what happened last time. Jacob, you're sitting there right after them with 21-9, pretty solid. I'm 20-10. Iggy with a 20-10 as well. Brady, Steve, and Ricky with a 19-11. And then, unfortunately, this other guy, I think his name's Kyler. I don't know who this is. I don't know who's friends with him. Unfortunately, he did not put in picks this week. So he is sitting at the bottom with that 12-3, unfortunately for him. Then hopping to the NFL, week 1 results. Look at you, Jacob, coming out on top with a 10-6. There you go. 10-6 for you. Shane and Steve both with a 9-7. Me and Tyler with an 8-8. Ricky with a 7-9. Brady 6-10. And Iggy, my guy, what are you doing? A 4-12 to start off week 1? Man. Iggy, if you're listening to this at any point after the fact or whatever, you're gonna have to have fun climbing, man. That's already off to a rough start. But hey, it's week 1. There's time. It's all good. It's all good. Let's actually start off with NFL. NFL week 1, baby. We're back. College, we had an insane weekend, yes, but NFL week 1, that enough is enough to start off the show. You know what I mean? And let's go ahead and just let's jump into it. What the hell happened Sunday night, Jacob? Like, what happened there, man? At least your defense looked good. Your defense looked great. You're wearing Micah Parsons' jersey. Like, Micah Parsons was on it, man.
Yeah, he was the only person to show up on the entire Cowboys organization. Literally.
Right.
Except for Brett Maher's one field goal.
Yeah. Which also, fun fact, you guys are the only team not to score a TD all weekend. How you feeling about that?
Feels great, man.
Oh man, no, like your offense struggled bad. Now Dak's out, so that hurts your season. I mean, I know he's
Yep.
out for the season, but out for a while. But like literally, like, okay, do you remember? I've said this a few times on the show. Do you remember last year Monday Night Football, the Peyton and Eli cast, when it was the first play for the Raiders and they made the joke where Peyton's like, "All right, this play right here is everything that I need to know about their season." It was like some bullshit
Yep.
and he's like, "All right, 7-8." So that's how I felt watching this game. It was like in the first series, it wasn't the first play for the Cowboys, where they tried to run that gadget play and got knocked back like 5 yards or something. I'm like, all right, that tells me it's gonna be a nice 7-9, 7 or whatever season. That's gonna be the Cowboys for you. I mean, how are you feeling right now? I mean, like, you got to feel a little defeated.
I just, everything that's happened over the offseason, we get rid of Amari Cooper. Tyron Smith goes down with an injury, out pretty much the entire season. Probably will be out for
Yep.
a solid majority of next season if things with the surgery doesn't go well. I don't know, man. Been a Cowboys fan for a while now,
Right.
for a long while, and I hate to say it, but I'm starting to get used to this. I just like I know something is going to mess up, whether it be right at the beginning of the season or towards the tail end of the season when it matters the most.
Mm-hmm.
Or, playoffs when we inevitably play Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers ends up screwing us over every time. But that's besides the point. It's just, I don't know what to do anymore, man.
Steve's attacking you right now, man. Steve's like, should have been used to it for 25 years.
Okay, now. I can't help that the Cowboys last won a Super Bowl before I was even born.
Right.
Okay? It sucks.
I mean, I feel you, man. I mean, I'm a Bears fan, my second favorite team's Jacksonville, for God's sake. I'm double cursed. I've got one of the worst, the bottom 5 owners in the NFL of Jacksonville. And then I have another set of dumbasses leading, the Chicago Bears. So, like, I feel you. I do feel you. Your team's failure can drink and can probably get a bachelor's degree. All right, there you go.
Yikes.
Yeah. No, like, in your position with this team right now, like, losing Tyron was massive. You're throwing Tyler Smith out there, which was a player when drafted. It was like, we chat about it, that draft stream. It's like,
Yep.
could it be a great draft pick? Yeah, but like, he needs some work. You know what I mean? He needs that time behind Tyron or maybe at like, another position on the line. And now it's just like, now he's being thrust into it. It's like, well, sink or swim, kid. And
Exactly.
Now losing Dak as well. I mean, bro, like, yeah, it already feels like your season's done. Like, could it change? Yes, absolutely. But it already feels like your season's done, which is how I feel most of the time. Like, going into week 1, I usually am like, well, this season's done.
You guys got to win. We didn't.
I'm shocked we got that win, honestly.
Well, okay. So what I was going to tell you earlier, I did just read an article before we went live. Dak Prescott could very well. There's like a 60% chance, not too great, but still greater than 50, that he could come back before his 4 to 6 week time frame.
Okay.
So, I'm not holding my breath, to be honest. I wouldn't doubt it for him to be out the entire season with the luck of the Cowboys organization at this point.
I mean that's 100% accurate. We've seen that happen before, where it's like, a great example, because Steve's throwing this out there. He's a Packers fan and then he's an Eagles fan, whatever. Which also, Steve, I respect your opinions, but it's kind of weird that your top 2 teams are both in the NFC. But we're gonna move on. But like, I mean, he's a great example of like last season he continuously had to deal with. All right, David Bakhtiari's coming back this time. Then he's coming back this time. Then he's coming back this time. And then he came back, for the Lions. Then he was out in the playoff game. You know what I mean? Like, so like it could be the same thing for you guys, where it's like, Dak could be back here. All right, he's not back. He's gonna be back here. All right, he's not back. He's gonna be back here. It's gonna be an ongoing thing potentially. And then I think I know you guys have like Cooper Rush, whatever, but I think it's just like the football gods striking you down where it's because like coming into week 1, you guys cut both your backup quarterbacks and your kicker, and I'm just me and Ricky and Shane were all like, "What the hell are the Cowboys doing right now? Like they don't have a backup quarterback." Well, the
Well,
football god
so
struck.
when Dak went out a few years ago with his leg injury, and Andy Dalton came in to start for us, I had hope. Andy
Right.
Dalton, former starter, been to the playoffs, never won a playoff game, but still been to the playoffs at
Right.
least.
I mean, he won his division multiple times in Cincy.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, multiple years in a row.
yeah,
At that,
I think it was like
too.
3 years in a
And
row since he won the
yeah,
AFC North.
yeah, and it's that year and this year. I'm starting to see parallels, man. I'm starting to see parallels, and it's starting to freak me out. It's the Johnson curse. It literally is. Ever since we got rid of Jimmy Johnson, ever since he was fired for really no good reason,
Right.
Cowboys haven't been good at all.
I mean, it's kind of like the same thing. Do you watch the Pat McAfee show?
Absolutely.
Okay, it's kind of the same thing where it's like, Foxy's always talking about the Calvin Johnson curse with the Lions. Like they
Yep.
wouldn't pay him his money, and the Lions are just cursed until they pay the money. It's that ongoing joke. It's the same thing for you guys. You guys are just cursed. Into Yeah, I don't know. And Steve also said, "Bring on Kaepernick." I've also seen some rumors that Cam could be linked to the Cowboys.
I've been seeing Jimmy Garoppolo too, but I don't know with how Trey Lance has been playing.
Oh man, I know. I know. I don't. That week 1 was not good. Now, granted, the conditions weren't great for anyone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but still, I mean,
even in the
it's
preseason, he
it's the
didn't look
Bears.
great. I've been hammering
It's,
that drum.
it's the Bears.
I mean, yeah, but like even in the preseason, I was hammering that drum with Trey because I watched that entire week 3 preseason game of San Fran and Houston, and Houston defense, which is Houston, is the offense I don't think is great. I understand they tied. We'll talk about that. I don't think they're a great offense. I don't, but their defense is good. Like up front, that is a Lovie Smith defense, and they shut Lance down in that first half that Lance played. So I don't know.
Yep.
This could be a rough year for Trey Lance and the 49ers. Honestly and truthfully, it could. So I think they're definitely going to be hanging on to to Jimmy Garoppolo. I think a little bit longer. Shout out to Tyler in the chat as well. Trey Lance is a bum. He potentially could be, which sucks. I loved him at North Dakota State, but he potentially could. He just hasn't played enough. You know what I mean? You start 1 year in college, that's it. That's all you did. Now, granted, you didn't turn over the ball. No picks. That's great. But 1 year in college, man, like, I don't know. More often than not, you see these guys that barely play any college level, and you see them flop in the NFL in some capacity. You know what I mean? Because like
Absolutely.
one quote that I always like to reference, I don't remember. I think it was by Mel Kiper, who I absolutely despise with a burning passion. I think it was him where it was going into last year's draft with Mac Jones and all them, where it's like you look at a player and you ask why he did not start, before, previously, and you can piece together, like in Mac's case, he had Jalen and Tua in front of him. Okay, that makes sense. And then I think back to like Mitchell Trubisky coming out, and he was being praised as potentially #1 pick to the Browns, and obviously he went 2 to us. And it's just like he started, I think, only 1 year in college. It's like, okay, well, why didn't he start previous? The guy who beat him out was a guy named by the name of Marquise Williams, who was last playing in the XFL. So like that's kind of the thing here. It's like you look at like why that extra time, it helps. It pays dividends massively. So I mean, we're gonna potentially see that with Trey Lance, where this could be a very painful year for Trey Lance. Lance did throw a pick versus. Well, no, I mean I don't mean that year. I don't mean that game against UCI. I don't mean that one. I mean the actual full season. He did not throw an interception, but yes, he did throw a pick against his one showing out game against UCA. Yeah, that is correct. Now I did already kind of reference Indianapolis and Houston. A draw in week 1 from an Indy team that a lot of people are calling as like a dark horse to go to the Super Bowl. And I'm kind of in that boat too. I think there's a lot of contenders in the AFC, a lot, like a stupid amount. And Indy's one of mine. I think this team is, but like, what happened, man? They just laid a fucking egg. Like what in your mind, Jacob, what is the bigger factor here? Houston shocking everyone and being a lot better than we thought, or Indy just completely laying an egg, or both?
I would say Indy laying an egg, to be honest, because if you look at the talent, okay, so they led in every single category: passing yards, rushing yards, defense. They led in every category, time of possession, but they still managed to tie in overtime to the Texans,
Right.
to Davis Mills, who had a really good showing, I might add. I think that he is going to be the quarterback for the future of the
You need to
Texans.
relax because Tyler's
I know,
loving this right now. Yeah, I'm not going to repeat the words that Tyler's putting in chat. I'm not giving him the pleasure.
No, to be honest though, Davis Mills looked better than Matt Ryan.
Right.
I will say that. And whether or not it's too early to tell, Jonathan Taylor is a workhorse.
True.
For Indy's offense. Michael Pittman, great. Love him as a wide receiver.
He did pretty well.
Where is the protection for Matt Ryan? Because I saw a little bit of that offensive line just breaking down protection for Matt Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
And he's never good. He's never, ever good under pressure.
Right.
I've never seen Matt Ryan good under pressure. I know they called him Matty Ice and everything back in the day, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it honestly kind of blows me away when, with how that offensive line played, because this is supposed to be like his best offensive line he's ever had, which is not wrong. I mean, this is on paper, a good offensive line. So it's like, what happened? And I do also think it goes back to, like, with the Texans, that defense is a lot better than people give it credit for. It's just the offense that I don't think. The offense is what really shocked me with Houston, with that game. Defense didn't necessarily shock me. Like, the defense was good last year when they sucked. Like they were one of the top teams in takeaways last year when they sucked ass. And this is a Lovie Smith defense. It makes sense to me as a Bears fan, of course, but it's just that offense, man. That offense shocked me. And Tyler's dead ass determined that Davis is the future. He's dead ass set on this.
Last year and this year so far, he's proven it. He's proven it.
He's proven to be a good game manager. Is one thing that I've definitely noticed out of him. Been trying to tell y'all. Hashtag not a shocker.
He's proven to be the best quarterback in that draft class. That might be too far of a stretch, but so far it's been the case.
I mean, like, so that class was, of course, like, Trevor and Justin and Trey. Who was the other first rounder? Was it Mac, I guess? Yeah, Mac.
Yeah.
Were those the only first rounders, or are we forgetting someone?
Yeah, I think it was
just those three. Oh, Zach. Oh, yeah, Zach. I forgot about Zach. Zach up in the Jets. Oh, he sucks. I ain't worried about him.
Who?
Exactly. I ain't worried about Zach. It blows. Zach's one of those cases, like, it blows me away how high he jumped up draft boards. Like, I just don't see it. Yeah, Zachary Milfson. Yeah, that's who we were forgetting. The number 2 pick. That's right. Yeah, he'll be back eventually. They're going to be riding some old Joe Flacco coattails for the time being and just suck.
Yeah.
Now I do know that your second favorite team there is Cincy. That game, man, me and Steve, we were messaging each other back and forth watching it. The end of that game was insane. The end of that game was insane, dude. Like, what happened? Now, granted, when it came to the Cincy, one notable thing, because the announcers kept hammering this, is Cincy's long snapper got hurt. And that just throws off everything in terms of going through your process for kicking. But man, like Joe Burrow throwing 4 interceptions in the first half. Granted, he kind of turned it back on, but this game shouldn't have been as close as it was, in my opinion. Like, I feel like it's a two-parter here. Number one, this game should have been a lot further apart because of that. Yeah. So it goes into kind of what we're saying about the Texans, where the Steelers' offense was, they were a thing, but the Steelers' defense was the Steelers' defense. Now, granted, unfortunately, T.J. Watt, he is out, but he will be back. He did not tear the muscle. I don't think. It wasn't a tear. So he doesn't have to get surgery. So he can just rehab and come back. So that's good for them. I think Cam Hayward went down at one point. A lot of injuries this weekend. Oh my God. Injuries. I have like multiple injuries listed here. I mean, like Derek Barnett.
That's what happens when you don't play the preseason.
Yeah, and that's a big thing too. That's a big thing, is that your rhythm's not there. And a lot of injuries. You're just not. You're not. You're going to see this out of your starters. Steelers didn't win. The Bengals lost. Correct. That is 100% true. Like other injuries we had was Philadelphia pass rusher Derek Barnett. He's out for the season. Kyle Fuller for the Ravens, who just went to Baltimore this offseason. He's out for the season. Both of those ACL tears. Eli Mitchell, running back of San Fran, he's missing time. And a rookie out of Washington, Phildarren Mathis, I think so you pronounce his name. He's a D tackle. He's out for the season now, which sucks for him because he's not like a top draft pick. Rookie out for it sucks. But I mean, what happened in Cincy, man? Like, I thought Cincy was going to blow the doors off Pittsburgh coming in this week 1. But at the same time, I've been saying for a while, don't underestimate Pittsburgh because it's Mike Tomlin's team. Like, I think Pittsburgh will hit their 500 number. but I didn't think they were going to win this, especially in the way that they did. How are you feeling about it?
I'll be honest. I don't think it was Cincy that shot themselves in the foot. I just think this was Pittsburgh's defense being a lot better than people give them credit for.
True.
Joe Burrow is Joe Burrow. I know he went to a Super Bowl last year, but
which I think is a fluke, honestly. I'm sorry.
I don't know if it is a fluke, to be honest, because if you really look at last year, going into the playoffs, they were the most overall complete team. Kansas City didn't have a secondary at all.
That's true. Tyrann Mathieu, the amount of shots that we had last year of Tyrann be like, what the fuck, guys?
Exactly. The Bills, no running game whatsoever. Devin Singletary, sure, but he's not a workhorse.
Right.
Josh Allen, yeah, he can run a lot, but he can only do so much. Cincy overall last year was the best complete team. And going into this year, I thought, hey, they got the pieces that they were missing. They got a better offensive line. They got the key pieces that they needed on defense. I thought they were going to be even better overall than what they were last year, but wow. I don't know, man. This game almost gave me a heart attack. I'll say that much.
I mean, with how that game ended, I don't fucking blame you. That game was intense to watch there at the end. Tyler also said the Bills don't need a running back because their quarterback's their running back. He said just a better Lamar Jackson. Okay, man.
But where does that get teams, to be honest? Because the Bills haven't been to a playoff or to a Super Bowl yet. The Ravens haven't been to a Super Bowl yet. They're just not a complete team offensively.
Right. I mean, the only thing the Bengals lacked, was obviously offensive line. I mean, that's obvious, but they improved on that with Lyle Collins, a couple other signings, I believe. Jonah Williams, who they drafted a year or two before, whatever, he's progressing and stuff, so it's just like, the pieces are, and that's why, like, when coming into like our predictions, I had the Bengals winning like a lot of games. Cause like my mindset was, they only got better. They didn't get worse. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like they only improved on all major categories. The main thing improving on was offensive line. But like even still, because of how bad that line was, like I still feel like last year was a little bit of a fluke. Like I see your point where going into the playoffs, you're right. Top to bottom, besides O-line, that was a complete team. Special teams, offense, defense, complete team. But like just the fact that they even got there, I feel like was like, wow, who would have fucking guessed this? Zach Taylor was like one of my top hot seat coaches last year. It's like it just came out of nowhere. Like no one would have bet the Bengals go to the Super Bowl last year. And with this game, it's kind of like a repeat of last year. Joe Burrow recently talked about this on the Pat McAfee show that last year they sucked to start the year. It's the same thing. Like with a team like this, there was no major injuries that happened, which is the big thing. As we already hammered with Dallas. So since he can definitely kind of take this train back on the tracks here and try to make it back to the Super Bowl, it's gonna be tough though. That AFC is tough. I
will say they will have a bounce. I hate to say this, they're gonna have a bounce back week next week against Dallas.
Oh, yeah, it is Cincy and Dallas. That's right.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, yes. All right, that's a lock. Cincy's beating the shit out of Dallas. I'm sorry, man. I don't know about beat the shit, but
Joe Burrow.
I'm not going to say they're going to beat the shit out of Dallas, but they're definitely going to beat Dallas. I don't know. You're kind of you think it's going to be a beatdown.
Yeah, I think Cooper Rush might be running for his life.
Okay, fair enough. Let me pull up some betting odds here. I'm curious what the current line is for that game. I mean, yeah, Cooper's probably gonna be running for his life. I mean, I think it's gonna come down to that Dallas defense about what they can do. But I don't know. We'll see. Let's see where. Okay, currently the Bengals are favored -7.5.
That's actually pretty. That's a pretty big differential there.
Yeah, not as big as some others I'm looking at. I mean, San Fran's favored -10 over Seattle. Denver's favored -10 over Houston. Green Bay's favored -10 over Chicago. Buffalo's favored -10 over Tennessee. That one's actually kind of shocking, honestly. The Rams are favored -10.5 over Atlanta. All right, that doesn't really shock me too much. But yeah, other than those 10s, that's the largest spread, is at -7.5 against Dallas. The over under is 43. So we'll see.
That's about right where I thought it was. I honestly thought we were going to be like a 10-point underdog going into that game.
well, with no Dak, if Dak was
Yeah.
playing, then I could see your point where it's like you guys might be the underdog there, but no Dak is gonna, So Dallas is your number one team. Are you kind of torn on this, or you're just like fuck it, let's just hope Dallas wins?
I'm kind of at the point where I think we might go 0-6 to start the season.
You know what's funny about that? A team that we just finished talking about that could start off 0-2, and I feel like if that happens, it's going to further put like bigger questions on this team. Is I actually think the Colts could start 0-2. I'm gonna be real with you. Jacksonville is their kryptonite, man. I don't know what it is, but Jacksonville's their kryptonite. It's in Duval County, baby, and I don't know why. It just happens. It just happens, man.
They're only a 4-point favorite, which is surprising to me,
Right.
considering like the game Jacksonville had last week against Washington.
Right.
But yeah, I agree with you. I think the Colts have the biggest possibility to start 0-2 as far as the major Super Bowl contenders we thought going into the season were going to be.
Yeah, true. Now, one game that I was kind of curious on here is because I feel like this was an important statement for this team, this coach, and this quarterback. What was your thoughts on Miami getting that dub over New England? Did it really shock you at all? Because like with New England, there was so much talk in this offseason of just like they have no offense. This offense is potentially being run by Matt Patricia, which was obviously defensive minded, and Joe Judge. Yep. Like they don't have an OC. And they go out and lay an egg with 7 points. Mac Jones is now hurt, and Miami kind of had their calling out game, it feels like, against the big bad wolf for so many years. I know Buffalo's won the past few seasons, but what was your thoughts on seeing that dub?
I will be honest, I was a little worried for the Dolphins at first during that game. You could see the rust on Tua. He was missing passes left and right almost, it seemed like, especially to Tyreek Hill, wide open Tyreek Hill, which that video has now been plastered all over social media of him underthrowing him by a lot, by like 10 yards.
I know. Some people are just like, oh, it was tipped. And I've watched that video 1,000 times. Like, I don't think that was tipped.
No.
It was a bad snap. I'll give him that, but...
If it was tipped, it would have been pushed up into the air. It wouldn't have been lowered into the air as much as it was, at least. I don't see it. But I will say I did read an article not too long ago. Mac Jones is on pace to be coming back this Sunday.
Really? So already? Okay.
His injury is not nearly as bad as they thought it was going to be, which is good for the Patriots. But I don't know. Miami could give Buffalo a run for their money in this division this year.
I think so too. I mean, personally, I think Miami will be second place in the division with New England 3. New England's playing Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh this weekend. So that'll be a tough matchup for them. And who is Miami playing? I lost it.
Ravens.
Thank you. Yep. Yeah, there it is. Ravens. At Baltimore. That's going to be a tough one. Now, if the Dolphins get that dub, whoo! That's gonna be a calling out thing. I will say I want to see the Dolphins completely succeed because I fucking love Mike McDaniel. He is one of the best things to happen to the head coaching realm in a very long time. He is an electric human being. That interview he did with Pat was one of the best things I've ever seen. I love this guy and I love his charisma. Let's see. Tyler said Wentz is back for 3 games, like Samson Darnold last year. That's true. Never forget. Terrible Football Show, episode 3. The title was Sam Darnold is a guy. Never forget. Never forget. We've had a lot of bad takes in the past. Steve also threw out there Green Bay. That was that a shocking game? Because Steve, being a Green Bay fan, he and I chatted about it yesterday, where it's just like week 1 is just not Green Bay's week, but then after that it's fine. So was that game really shocking, or is it, was it actually just kind of mind blowing about how bad they looked?
I was not shocked at all, considering Green Bay has no weapons except for Aaron Jones.
True.
That's it. That's all they have. So a little bit of a hot take here, but Green Bay might finish 3rd in their division this year.
Who do you got finishing 2nd? Who do you think could finish 2nd?
Dan Campbell and those Detroit Lions.
So that means the Bears in 4th, huh? I mean, that's fair. I know my place. I know my place right now. I know. I'm aware. No, and that's actually a great point because I think the Lions are going to shock a lot of people. They shocked, I feel like, the world that haven't really paid attention to the Lions, and just went into this season, didn't pay attention to Hard Knocks or pay attention to anything they did last year or whatever, and just said, oh, the same old Lions. They're going to be the same old Lions. No big deal. They still got golf. They're the same old Lions. But then they kept it close to a team that a lot of people are liking to call a Super Bowl favorite in the NFC, being the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, I don't think that's a bad take personally. I think the Lions are going to really shock a lot of people. I think they'll be above 500 this year. I don't know if I'm going to hammer what Foxy always hammers of 10-7 in a playoff win, but I'm going to say that they're going to go above 500. I think that's.
I will go out and say they will be a wild card team this year.
Ooh, that's spicy. I like that. I like that. Hey, I got no beef with Detroit. All right, I want to see them succeed. I like Dan Campbell, man. That dude's electric. So I would love to see them succeed. And the Vikings looked awesome. I mean, Justin Jefferson had like a career day, and one of the big things that like me and Shane has hammered for a while now is that like Kirk Cousins is not as bad as people make him out to be. Like he's just not. I'm sorry. Like you look at like, well, yes, if you look at stats, he's not good on prime time. All right. Yep. Got that. Not really the best playoff quarterback. We got that too. But like, playoff aspect, you can improve on that. Prime time, you can improve on that. But like you look at his stats, like his stats are very good. This dude can play the game, and I feel like Kevin O'Connell coming into this system with the intent of working with Kirk, I feel like it showed week 1 and it's going to continue to show throughout the year. And with Green Bay, your point with their no weapons, that's 100% true. I mean, you saw, A-Rod not being on the same page with a majority of, his receivers. I mean, Christian Watson, their second-round draft pick, completely just dropped a pass that would have been a TD and been a very different game. Very different game.
I laughed at that so hard when that happened.
I did too.
I can't stand Green Bay. As a Cowboys fan, I cannot stand Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay.
I fucking hate Green Bay. So I respect them, but god damn it, do I hate Green Bay with a passion. Green Bay and fuck Florida State, man. Those are the two teams in sports where it's just like I don't really have hatreds in the NFL besides Green Bay. Like Vikings, I'd prefer you to lose against us. Lions, I'd prefer you to lose against us, but I hope you win. In college, it's like, as a Miami fan, it's like, yeah, I guess there's Florida, but it's like, you don't really bother me too much. We're different conferences. Just kind of go do your thing. I'm going to do mine. But Florida State can straight burn in hell. Fuck Florida State forever. Yeah, that is my stance, and I will never change on that. Now, the Bears, like you already mentioned, Bears did get a win this week in San Fran. It was just nasty conditions, though. Justin Fields looked as good as he could in the conditions. We'll see how it continues to go. I didn't think we would win this game. I don't think we're going to be a super great team. I know Ricky had us going like 11 wins into the playoffs. That was Ricky's prediction. I don't see that. I think we have like legitimately our ceiling is like probably 7 games. Like 7 games, I think that's our ceiling, personally. And also, Steve wanted just to drop a simple reminder that it was not a catch.
Actually, 2 years after that playoff game, the NFL did rule that it was indeed a catch. So I don't want to hear that.
No, that was a catch. That was a catch. They fucked that one up. They fucked that one up bad.
I guarantee we would have won the Super Bowl that year with that team. Guarantee.
Right. Oh, trust me, I have those vibes too, man. Because a lot of people would disagree with me, but like I think it was our 2013 team, and our 2013 team. I think we started like we didn't start undefeated. I think it was 9-2 is what we started, the Bears, and we were like blowing teams out when we won, blowing teams out, and it went into like a Sunday night game against Houston. And Houston was doing really well then with, Andre Johnson, Arian Foster, Matt Schaub, whatever. And they were even working that game. I was like, oh, this could be the potential Super Bowl right here, with how well they were. And then that game, Jay gets hurt, Matt Schaub gets hurt. Both teams go downhill after that. So I do feel you on that. That was probably the second worst call I've ever seen. The first, of course, was Saints and Rams. That was the most blown ass shit I have ever seen in my life in a fucked up call. That was ridiculous.
That right there just always makes me in the back of my head think, man, are these games actually really rigged?
Right?
Are they?
I think they are, personally. They gotta be. They have to be at this point.
At
I'm
least some of them. At least like the major games like
right.
that. I doubt all of them are rigged, but how? Just how?
Yeah. I never forget the I think it was Benny Cunningham. I think is who it was. It could be another random running back that I'm thinking of. He put up on Twitter and stuff how the NFL's rigged. They have to sign an NDA when they get drafted and signed and stuff like that. You know, blah blah. And like after he put all that up, his Twitter account disappeared off the face of the planet.
Yep. Yep.
So I mean, I don't know, man.
Whistleblower right there.
There's some cases where it's like, yeah, this is some rigged ass shit, honestly. Oh man. All right, let's see. Some other games here. Really that Monday night game was the last one to really kind of throw something out there for. You know, Seattle just looked a lot better than I think anyone on this planet gave him credit for, because me and everyone else, I think, even Seattle fans in Seattle, which I do know some in Seattle, were all under the impression that we're in tank mode. You know, we didn't do anything to address the quarterback position. We're in tank mode. We're going to try to get Bryce or CJ Stroud. Cool. And then they came out and Geno Smith looked pretty solid, in my opinion. And Russ just kind of laid an egg. Now, if you're Nathaniel Hackett, what would you have done in that situation, that 4th and 5, trying to go for a 65-yard field goal, which McManus could make, but you know, history shows that he doesn't.
Textbook rookie mistake for Hackett. You have a quarterback in Russell Wilson, a Super Bowl MVP quarterback. Yes, he wasn't really doing good that last night. Okay, sure. But 4th and 5 with what was it, like 17 or 18 seconds left on the clock?
Yep.
Just put it in his hands and see what can happen.
Yep. I mean, you're paying him $245 million.
Exactly.
Yep.
You pay him that type of money to win in that type of situation.
Yep.
Why not allow him to do what he could do best?
Right. No, that was baffling to me. And then also, I thought it was so fucking petty for the 2 timeouts right there at the end when the game's very clearly over. You know, that was petty as fuck to me. I was watching that.
Pissed.
Yeah, like that was stupid as hell to me. Like, yeah, it was. Steve also pointed out that Patrick Mahomes' ball. No, that's a good one too to kind of end off on the NFL. Is KC sent a fucking statement. You know, because Arizona's not really a bad team. I think they're overrated, yes, but they're not a bad team. But like KC sent a statement that's like, we don't need Tyreek Hill. Which, you know, and, you know, even coming into this, I think there was something where Patrick Mahomes made some jokes. Just like, I'm sorry to fantasy owners, but people who are getting the ball is always going to be different. Unless it's Travis Kelce.
That's why I have Patrick Mahomes on my fantasy team.
Yeah, there you go.
Any of the wide receivers. So.
Right. I have Travis Kelce on one of mine, and I don't regret that decision because I still think he'll be #1 target. Which, you know,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But, like, you know, KC sent an absolute statement that this offense is going to do just fine without Tyreek Hill. And, and they really shut the hell out of the Arizona, who is supposed to be this pretty solid team in a lot of people's minds. Again, I think they're overrated personally, but they are supposed to be this solid NFC contender team, and just shut them the fuck up. Like, that was a real solid win for KC to further keep it in everyone's mind that, okay, yeah, they are still the Chiefs. Just because they lost Tyreek Hill does not mean they're not the Chiefs anymore. Who are the
exactly, because they reloaded.
They did, yeah.
By losing Tyreek Hill. Yes, they didn't get one single prominent player, but they got multiple players in MVS and unfortunately Juju. I cannot stand that guy. But they got the weapons that they needed to refill and reload for the season. So,
and honestly, I like their draft pick Sky Moore too, out of Western Michigan.
Yes,
I like him a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're right. They just reloaded, man. And I think it's going to be great for them. And I cannot tell you how excited I am to watch Thursday Night Football with the Chargers and the Chiefs. It's gonna be electric. This is gonna be an incredible game, I think.
It's gonna be awesome.
I'm ready for it. It's a couple nights away. Any other thoughts on NFL stuff? If not, we'll hop over to college. I do also want to shout out in terms of new head coaches, 5-3-1 to start off week 1. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's pretty good for new head coaches. A lot better than the norm. Any other thoughts that you want to throw out there with anything NFL related?
Fire Mike McCarthy, please.
Who's going to be your replacement?
Well, if this was a few years ago, I would have said Chris Richard.
Okay.
Our old defensive coordinator. But give me Kellen Moore or Tony Romo as our head coach.
Really?
Either or.
Really? Okay. I think it'll be Sean Payton personally. That's
I don't want that. I'll be honest, I don't want that.
I know. We were chatting about it here recently, where it's like going from Mike McCarthy to Sean Payton. It's like you're getting mediocrity for mediocrity.
Exactly.
Yep. Yep. I think the
Yeah, they're
Chargers are going to
Super
make
Bowl
a
winning
historic
coaches,
run.
but they've won one.
Yeah, they've only won one.
One Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. And in Sean Payton's case, you had one of the best regular season quarterbacks in NFL history.
Exactly.
I mean, like, he may not have the stats now, obviously, because Tom Brady is timeless and he can just play forever. So naturally, he's going to get the stats. But I mean, like, the fact that Drew Brees threw for 5,000 yards like 8 fucking times when before before he did it the first time, only it's been done once, which was 1984 Dan Marino, and then Drew Brees went on to do it like 8 times. Like, that's just baffling. That's baffling. He's one of the best regular season quarterbacks of all time, if not,
Oh, absolutely.
top 5 easy.
Yep.
But yeah, Steve did throw out there that he thinks the Chargers are going to make a historic run, which I can see it, man. They only got better. I mean, I feel like, that trade with Khalil Mack got 3 sacks this weekend. Shout out to that. With him and Joey Bosa, man, it's going to be too much to handle. You got J.C. Jackson, who did very well in picks last year for New England, now into this system. Asante Samuel Jr., Derwin James, solid linebacker core. They got Kyle Van Noy, good pick up there. Like, the defense is good, offense is good. The Chargers are here for it, man. I think they're about to go on. Yeah, pieces are clicking. I think the Chargers are about to go on a run, and I'm excited to watch it.
I think they'll win their division this year.
I don't remember if I did. Yeah, I had the Chargers win the division. I actually have 3 AFC West teams making the playoffs. The only one that I don't have is the Broncos.
With how those Raiders looked, I don't know.
Well, I will say they were my 3rd place team. It was Chargers and Chiefs were 1 and 2, and Raiders at 3. So it might make a little bit more sense there. All right, let's hop over to some college, because week 2 of college football was absolutely insane. I did not get to watch as many games as I did the week before because I was absolutely glued to Alabama and Texas. That was such a fun game to watch, and it baffled me how good Texas looked, at least on defense. At least on defense and special teams, they looked phenomenal.
2nd string quarterback.
I know.
Too.
I know. That's what's crazy. Now Texas has 2 games against Bama. It's like, if we had our starting quarterback, we would have won. Because they still say that about Colt McCoy, which I gotta say, I'm in that boat. If they would have had Colt McCoy that championship, it would have been a very different championship. I'm just saying. And I hate Texas, okay? But I love Colt McCoy though. But no, that game was absolutely incredible. Alabama did obviously get that dub, and that 2nd string quarterback, man, he was playing in pain there for the entire second half. He got dinged up as well, and there was even talks like, man, who's going to be the 3rd guy that's going to go in? But their defense, like I said, looked incredible. Special teams, unfreaking believable. That Texas punter played very well, pinning Bama deep multiple times. And Bryce Young did not look good until like the last 2 minutes. Like, it was just one of those stupid things where it's just like, all right, I'm just going to slack off all games. Oh, 2 minutes? All right, cool. Let me just turn on the lights real quick.
It's like, oh, we got Texas. It's fine. I can just, I could do this in my sleep.
Yeah. And, that actually brings me to one of Ricky's thoughts. Pretty much all of his thoughts that he sent me was all college football related. Yeah, so let me pull up this message here. So one of the thoughts Ricky wanted me to shout out is Texas came in the top 25 and moved up 2 spots in a coaches poll after a loss. Complete joke. I can see both points. They played the number 1 team in the nation, very tight, very close. They are a Power 5 school. They're a nobility school at Texas. I get it, but at the end of the day, they did lose. So, like, if they were going to be unranked, like, put them at, like, 26, 27. You know what I mean? But I do see his point.
Well, it's the same thing with Marshall. Like, they're only at 26. I'm surprised they didn't jump in the top 25. But also, I think Alabama should have dropped to at least number 3 after that game.
Really?
With almost losing. Yes, it's a Power 5 school. Yes, it's Texas. But almost losing to an unranked team? Really?
Right.
They moved Ohio State down 1 spot after winning against the number 5 team. Granted, look what they did this week. That's big yikes for Notre Dame. But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I'll just wait until the college football playoff poll comes out, because the AP poll starting to lose its way with me.
Yeah, I just pulled up the AP top 25. So Georgia did bump up to 1, Alabama 2, Ohio State 3, Michigan 4, Clemson at 5, which I still think Clemson's overrated.
Yep.
Oklahoma at 6, USC at 7. That's interesting, but I mean, I get it. They've been ranked pretty high this season. But that's still interesting though. Oklahoma State at 8, Kentucky at 9, Arkansas at 10. That one's also interesting. Michigan State at 11, BYU at 12. I think BYU is still overrated in my opinion. Miami at 13. We might be overrated, but we'll see. Utah at 14, Tennessee at 15, North Carolina State at 16, Baylor at 17, Florida at 18, Wake Forest 19, Ole Miss at 20, Texas 21. Which that's also the thing. Like, if you're gonna bump them up in the top 25 after that close of a win, at least put them at 25. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
they did lose at the end of the day, but so 21 I do feel like it's a little high. Penn State at 22. Pittsburgh at 23 after their loss against Tennessee. Good game there. Texas A&M drops all the way down to 24 after losing to Appalachian State. Nah, fam. They should have just dropped out of the top 25.
Yeah, completely. They should have dropped out of the top 30.
Yeah, they should have dropped out of the top. And I'm not saying Appalachian State's a bad team. They're not. They're a good Sun Belt team. Like, when you look at Sun Belt competitors, Coastal Carolina, Appalachian State, there you go. Like, in terms of who's going to win the Sun Belt, like, they're good teams, but still, like, Appalachian State should not be on the same level as Texas A&M. Texas A&M should drop out of the top 25, and Oregon is now back into the top 25 at 25. A very interesting top 25 after this past week, honestly and truthfully. What are some that stick out to you besides like Texas being kind of like the biggest one? Because I feel like we can all agree that Texas is too high.
I think Florida should have dropped down a lot more than what they did. I think the AP committee just, the media just
went overboard
too much too quickly with them.
That number, yeah, we talked about that last week. That it was just too high. 12 was way too high for that.
Mm-hmm. I will say, in my opinion, I think the worst team in the top 25 is between Texas A&M and NC State.
Really? You're not an NC State guy here. Okay.
No. To me, they are the most overrated team in the top 25 currently.
I will say, going into the year, I would have violently disagreed with you. But with how they've played, I would agree with you now that they are one of the most overrated. Because, like, coming into this year, like, Devin Leary, he's a good college quarterback. There's a lot of high expectations there. They brought back 4 of their 5 offensive line starters. Obviously, the one they lost was obviously Icky going into the draft. They returned pretty much all their defensive starters and stuff. So it's like, in theory, this should be a team that's ready to go on a run.
Exactly.
But what happened? Why did you only win by 1 point against ECU? You know what I mean? So I do see your point there. Now, one team that I want to shout out personally to watch in this top 25, and it goes back to my predictions when we were doing the college predictions, and that is Wake Forest. Sam Hartman's a guy, man. I love Sam Hartman. This dude is a stud. Love this guy so much. He came back this week after some blood clot issues, obviously, that kept him out. It was potentially he was out indefinitely. Like, once I saw that, I'm like, well, my prediction of Wake Forest is dead. Like, I had him losing like only 1 game this year. Like, I think Wake Forest is a damn good team with Sam at the helm, but I still think that, man. Keep Wake Forest and Sam Hartman on your radar. I think that could be a very, very good team. Also, still want to kind of watch Tennessee as well. Still kind of watch. Yeah. Tennessee is a team to watch as well. And Kentucky, honestly. Kentucky's going to continue to rise, but honestly and truthfully, I wish they didn't. Kentucky deserves to lose every single game this year as long as Will Levis is their starting quarterback, because he puts mayonnaise in his coffee, and that's weird. And because of that, Kentucky deserves to lose every game that he is starting.
Last week after you guys were talking about that, I was really, really curious to try it.
No,
I'll be honest.
Jacob.
I was really curious. Now, is it like Hellman's?
I don't know what you put in there.
Miracle Whip.
There's a video of it on Twitter. Let's see if I can pull it up.
I'm kind of thinking it's like Miracle Whip, because Miracle Whip is more of like the sweet, tangy version of mayonnaise.
Okay. That looks like regular mayo. Oh, I didn't mean to have the sound. Oh, just him pouring it and mixing it. That's just gross, man. That's just disgusting. I hate everything about that. You know, I hate absolutely everything about that. That is the worst. In fact, hang on, give me 1 sec. Let me see if I can quickly, let's see, window capture. Let's do Chrome here. Let's set to Chrome properties. Twitter. There we go. I want everyone to see this. Pulling it up nice and big here on the stream. Let's just admire him putting mayonnaise into his coffee. Just look at it chunking in there. Oh, that's disgusting.
That's Miracle Whip.
That's Miracle Whip? I thought it was mayo.
That's Miracle Whip.
Okay, so he's doing Miracle Whip. Okay. Just look at it chunk in there, man. Just, oh, God.
And it's the easy squeeze too.
I hate everything about this.
That's it. Hey, that's a special drink, man.
I mean, hey, they're
right, I guess.
Yeah, they're number 9 in the nation, so I guess we can't talk shit. They're doing something right. Jesus Christ.
Now, I will say that one of my teams that I'm thinking are going to make a big splash this year just so happens to be one of the teams that you think is one of the more overrated teams in the top 25.
Ooh, which one?
BYU.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Yes. I have BYU only losing 1 game this year.
Who to?
I won't say because it'll fuel some egos in here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't want that. I already have to deal with that enough. As the one non-fan of that team, I already got to deal with that enough. So that's fair. No, and that's going to be a big test. I mean, they got a couple big tests coming up because this weekend I think they're playing Oregon, right? They just passed a pretty big test with beating Baylor, and Baylor was one of my teams that was going to potentially go to the college football playoff. Like, I had a lot of high expectations for Baylor. So that is a fair point. Maybe I need to reevaluate my BYU thinking. Last year and the year before, I thought they were overrated as shit. Horribly overrated. Especially when they had Zach. I thought they got like number 12 in the nation then too, and just got rolled by Coastal Carolina. It's just like, yeah, no shit. So maybe I need to reevaluate BYU right now, because that is a good point. They did beat Baylor, which was, I think, a very, very big win. So
see, and I think that's like, a prelude to what's to come when BYU joins the Big 12.
Good point. Starting next year, isn't it?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, next year. Now, we're both on the same boat that Clemson's overrated as shit, though, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. Good. Wake Forest better smack the floor with them.
Look, I
swear, dude.
My stance on this has been the same all along. As long as DJ's the quarterback, they are overrated. If Cade comes in and he's officially the starting quarterback, could be a different story. Could be a very different story. But as of now, while DJ is the quarterback, Uiagalelei, whatever his name is, they are overrated as shit, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
I think I've been saying this for a while, where I feel like it could be a repeat of Kelly Bryant and Trevor Lawrence, like where Kelly Bryant just not getting it done. They throw Trevor Lawrence in and he plays well. I think it'd be a literal repeat, honestly. Like, I'm being real.
I think so too. I think Dabo has a tendency to put all of his money into one jar at one point in time, and it just never works out for him.
Well, he's got a lot of money to do so, because he did just get a 10-year, $115 million extension all the way through 2031.
Yeah.
I wonder if that was because, like, he may have saw, like, the writing on the wall that Nick Saban's not leaving anytime soon, because Alabama's the only job I think he would leave Clemson for.
Absolutely.
So I think he may have just seen the writing on the wall with that one. You already kind of touched on Notre Dame, though. Is that the most embarrassing loss in Notre Dame history? And here's a follow-up question, because I saw a lot of people chatting about this on Twitter. Is this the biggest upset in college football history? Because a lot of people were saying it was, even over Appalachian State when they were an FCS team over Michigan. I still think that's the bigger upset.
Yeah, that is definitely the bigger upset.
Yeah, okay. All right, good. I think people have too much of a knee-jerk reaction with Marshall and Notre Dame saying it was the biggest upset ever.
I mean, you heard the commentators during that game, if you caught any of it. Marshall has a lot of former Power 5 players. They have a lot more talent on their team than most people think. And I predict Marshall could push the top 15 by the end of the year.
Ooh.
I think they're that good of a team.
That actually brings a question. Do you think it's a robbery that, like, Texas A&M remained ranked and Texas got ranked and stuff like that, and Appalachian State and Marshall didn't get ranked?
See, Appalachian State has a little bit of a problem because they also have to go over Cincy in the polls, and Cincy right now has a little bit more leverage over them, even though Appalachian State did beat Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M should have, like we talked about, dropped completely out of like the top 30.
Right.
They do not deserve to be ranked right now. Marshall, I think, should be ranked over Oregon, over Texas A&M. Yeah, probably in like the number 24, because I don't see them being ranked over Pittsburgh or Penn State.
Right. And just talking about those teams, you name drop Cincy as well. Those are 3 teams all receiving the top votes right now. Marshall at 85 votes, Cincy at 80, and Appalachian State at 80. So they're all right there beside each other. Kansas State being the next one at 77. And then North Carolina is after that at 71, and just keeps going down from there. Shout out to the one person that voted for Purdue. You're a legend.
Notice that one person didn't vote for Arizona like last week.
Yeah, I know. The one person that voted for Arizona, man. Like, that was wild. Like, what are you doing? Oh man, Arizona's got a matchup this week. I feel like people need to look. Arizona's a lot better than they were last year. Yeah, I will agree to that.
Yeah.
But I think people need to watch that game, man. North Dakota State, obviously, they're number 1 ranked at FCS and have been for like a decade for a fucking reason.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, people need to watch that game. That's gonna be an interesting one. I think North Dakota State could get that dub. In fact, that was actually one of Ricky's things. I think. Yeah, North Dakota State will beat Arizona. He is locking that shit in, locking it down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Kansas State too.
I know, dude. I like this Kansas State team with Adrian Martinez. I like this a lot.
I didn't like him in the Big Ten when he was in the Big Ten, but I don't know. He revitalized his college career going to K-State, I think.
Well, I mean, he got out from Scott Frost, so his career is automatically revitalized.
Yeah. Well, they got a. I don't want to say this coming week for K-State's going to be tough because it's Tulane, but next week and the week after that and the week after that are all 3 games in a row for them: Oklahoma, Texas Tech, Iowa State.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna be the true test for K-State. See if they can win 1 game out of those 3, I'd be impressed.
Right. And like Tyler pointed out in the chat, they do have a pretty solid running back. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Cannot remember it, but he is considered like the 2nd best running back in the nation behind Bijan Robinson. Can't remember his name to save my life right now. Deuce. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, we know who it is.
Fallen.
Yeah, yeah. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I mean, K-State's I think is in a very good position for that Big 12 as well. I'll shout out to Shane in the chat. I'm here. Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Correct. Hey Shane, how are you, man? Hopefully you're doing well. Yeah, no, K-State, great team to watch. I hope they can get ranked, and I do think it's kind of a robbery that Marshall and Appalachian State didn't get that love up there, like we're saying. Because Texas A&M and Texas, I don't think should be ranked. I don't even think Oregon should be ranked still. Not after that blowout they had, they should have been knocked down even further. I know they got knocked out of the top 25. That's great, but they should have been knocked down even further. Also,
how did they get ranked with beating Eastern Michigan or Eastern Washington?
Exactly. Like, they're not a bad FCS school, but like seriously, how the hell are you going to get ranked after that win when you got destroyed by Georgia? You know what I mean? I don't get it. Speaking of FCS, I don't know another time I'd have a great time to shout this out, so I do want to shout it out. It's one of Ricky's things, is to watch out for Incarnate Ward. 33-year-old head coach, J.G. Keene, who was a former stud at Tulsa. He did have some stops at Hawaii and Arkansas both. They beat Nevada over the weekend. This is a very big deal in my opinion, considering Incarnate Ward has only had football since 2009 and currently ranks 8th in the FCS, big-time sleeper for the FCS. So very, very good point.
That was one hell of a game, by the way. I don't know if you managed to catch it, but wow.
No, I didn't get to catch that one.
Oh, that was a roller coaster, man.
The Nevada one? Yeah. I heard it was, but I didn't get to see it. He also throws out there, since we did chat about Notre Dame, Coach Freeman at Notre Dame is now 0-3, could be fired if he has a losing season. Do you think that's possible? Or do you think he's going to get more time? I mean, look what Brian Kelly and the others got too,
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Brian Kelly didn't start off good either.
Credited coach though.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. But first time head coach, you at least give them 2 years.
Right.
2 years at the minimum.
Unless you're Urban Meyer.
If they can't improve after 2 years, then get rid of them.
Unless you're Urban Meyer and the Jacksonville Jaguars, then That was the most disastrous.
No comment coming from an Ohio State fan.
Fair. That was one of the most disastrous things I've ever seen in my life in sports. But anyway, Ricky also said Scott Frost being gone in 3 games is 3 games too long. I agree. He should have been fired coming into this year. He should not have been the head coach. Like Ricky was saying, you should have left his ass in Ireland. Like I was saying with that North Dakota game, who is not the great North Dakota team, mind you, that his ass should have been fired at halftime. He shouldn't, because they should have blown the doors off North Dakota. And then they lose to Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern. They're an okay team. They got talent, but they're a rebuild team because they have Clay, whatever his name is. He was the USC head coach last year. Hinton maybe? I don't remember. Clay something.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, he was they got him kind of reestablishing his vibe over there. Got that dub on Nebraska. Naturally, Scott Frost got the can, as he should have already got. That just has not worked out at all in the freaking slightest. But also, shout out to Washington State, though, getting that dub over 19th ranked Wisconsin. Shout out to that one. Washington State, Cameron Ward, he played for Incarnate Ward last year. Played awesome for Ward, man. And now here he is at Washington State. I'm just saying.
I don't know what's happening with the Big Ten. Like it was a complete. A few years ago, it was Michigan State, Michigan.
Right.
Now it was supposed to be Nebraska, Wisconsin, Montana, or Minnesota, not Montana. And now it's shifted back to the Michigan teams. I don't know what this back and forth is going on, but as long as Ohio State's number 1, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. Okay. All right. Well, that's probably going to stay for years to come. If we're going to be very real, I don't see that ever changing, at least for a very long time. Okay. So we already kind of touched on it a little bit with Kentucky getting the big dub over Florida, but I was kind of curious your thoughts on Anthony Richardson and how horrible he struggled. Because a lot of people coming in after that game against Utah was calling him already a Heisman favorite and this and that, and he was so great. Like, he has got unbelievable playmaking ability, right? He does because of his legs, but it's like he struggles with passing. And that was something me and Shane was even chatting with this guy, Nick, who's also, a Florida fan. Me and Shane chatted about Nick with this over the summer, is that like, that's what Anthony was trying to work on, was his passing game. He can do the run game fine, but man, he struggled against Kentucky. Did that really shock you? Or it's just like, okay, yeah, you're still seeing the same Anthony Richardson that struggles in the pass game?
You're seeing the same Anthony Richardson.
Because I felt like you saw that against Utah. He did not have a good game passing against Utah. I'm just saying. He had a great run game. He was electric and did what he had to do there. But being as a quarterback, I don't see it, man. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't see it either. I mean, I will honestly say the Kentucky defense, I think, is way better than the Utah defense.
That's true.
And it showed.
Yep, that's true.
But, man, you start the season 0-2 touchdown interception ratio? Like, come on, man. Really?
Yeah.
That's terrible. And you're a starting quarterback for a really, really big organization. He should be benched.
Oh, benching Anthony Richardson. Okay. Look, I'll say this, because I've been going back and forth with some people about the whole, I'm a Miami fan naturally. So there's, Anthony Richardson versus TVD, right? Look, TVD is the better quarterback. You cannot convince me otherwise. But Anthony Richardson is probably the better playmaker. That's the way I look at it.
On the ground, yes.
Yeah.
In the air, no.
No, not at all. Yeah, TVD is the better quarterback. If the game was on the line, I would give it to TVD. Which
Absolutely.
I guess we're gonna see how that goes this weekend. We're going to visit Texas A&M. I am a little nervous about it. Like TVD has not looked bad these first 2 games, but these first 2 games are slack off teams. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Southern Miss gave us a lot more fight than they should have given us, which that's why it scares me. But then again, it goes back to everything else that happened this past week. The Sun Belt's scarier than we think, which, yes, they are. I think the Sun Belt's a lot better than people think. I'm very much in that boat. But I am a little scared coming into this weekend for Miami and Texas A&M. I'm not going to lie.
I'll be honest. I don't think you have anything to worry about.
I hope that's the case.
Points.
Oh, 17 points? God, what is the line on it right now? Let me pull it up. I haven't looked at. I actually haven't looked yet. I was looking at some bets earlier, but I haven't actually locked anything in. So let me actually pull that up because I am curious how far that spread is right now. I had some fun betting some college football this weekend. NFL, not so much.
Vanderbilt screwed me over.
Oh yeah, man! I'm telling you, man. Sam Hartman, baby, he's a guy. I'm telling you. All right, let me see if I can find this game. Let's see. God, where is it? Don't tell me I missed it. I think I might have missed it.
I got you.
Okay.
Texas A&M's favored by 5.5.
Ah, okay. Okay. All right.
The over/under is 45.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Ooh, here's one that could be a little spicy, especially if you're hard on this as you think. BYU is currently plus 3.5. Oregon's favored minus 3.5 right now. It is at Oregon, so that's I can get that, but that could be a good one right there.
It's the traditional bookies don't know who's going to win, so they're going to give 3 points to the home team.
And also, shout out to your number 2 team, which I do respect your number 2 team quite a bit. Northern Illinois, they're currently favored against Vandy minus 2.5.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Huskies.
Fuck Vandy at this point.
Okay, is there a story behind the Huskies? Because it's like I'm always curious when I hear someone say like their favorite team or number 2 team, and it's just like a completely random team on the map almost. Is there a story for NIU?
It's the first football game I ever went to in my life.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Home game NIU game.
Oh, okay. Who was it against?
Oh shit.
Oh man. Toledo. Okay. Yeah, some good old Mac action up in here, baby. Tyler loves the Mac Nation, man. He loves the Mac Nation. Now, I'm always curious about it, because my number 2 team's Hawaii. And when I tell that to most people, it's just like, why Hawaii, bro? I'm like, did you watch when they had Cole Brennan? Have you seen those uniforms? Bro.
Rainbow Warriors, baby.
Go Bows. Hey, I have been inducted into the Go Bows Twitter circle. Okay, I got a lot of Go Bows fans following me. I'm in. Okay, I'm in the circle. Like I'm in it. I'm more in that one than I am Miami. I'm gonna be real with you.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's probably not that hard to break into that Twitter circle.
Hey, you need to relax. You need to relax. You need to relax. Okay, there's a lot of fans. This is the most passionate fan group I've ever been a part of. Everyone is so positive because they have low expectations. I'm just being real. They know they're not going to win a championship, so it's just like, hey, let's just have a good time. Go Bows. I'm like, all right.
It's interesting. I know all your, at least your top 4 favorite teams as far as college and NFL goes. Yep. It's weird because you have one outlier, it seems like, and that's Miami.
Right.
Every other team is below
average. I know. They're
average.
They all suck. I know.
What's the correlation there?
So, okay, I'll give a story because I've now added a 5th team into my regime here with my little logos up here with the Chargers. They're my 3rd favorite NFL team. So here's the story for all 5. Chicago, number 1 team. My mom was a massive Bears fan when she was still around, and it just kind of rubbed off on me. I fell in love with like Devin Hester, Lance Briggs, Brian Urlacher, Charles Tillman, Nathan Vasher. All those guys. Devin Hester's still my favorite player of all time. I mean, so it's just kind of what I grew up into. The Jaguars. I've loved the Jags, honestly, since they had David Garrard, Fred Taylor, Maurice Jones-Drew. I like, because I'm a Bears fan, I also have like that, like the underdog mentalities, and Jacksonville always stinks. I think they got a sweet logo, sweet color scheme, and I'm naturally drawn to that, and I get drawn to other things as well. I like it personally. I like the color scheme. I'm a big fan. What's
with that baby barf color though? Like with
the gold for a few years ago. The gold, yeah. The gold's okay, but hey, at least we knock it out of the park with the teal. But
True,
the teal's fantastic. But no, I mean that I just grew up, enjoying those players, watching them play, and then also just these past few years, I love the shit out of Gardner Minshew. This guy deserves a starting job in the NFL. 1,000%.
Speaking of that, earlier we were talking about some things with a certain team, right?
Okay. Are you gonna say what I think you're gonna say?
Second round pick to the Eagles for Gardner Minshew.
Do it.
Take it or leave it.
Do it. Let's go. Gardner Minshew is going to take the Cowboys to the Super Bowl.
Minshew Mania, baby. Come on.
Minshew Mania is ready to run wild, man. That would be the perfect place for it to run wild. Think about the merch. I mean, Jacksonville capitalized on the merch. Dallas can really capitalize on the merch.
Jerry Jones,
money.
Man, just tell him how much dollar signs.
Exactly.
Quickly.
Yeah. So for the Chargers, that's a recent addition strictly because of their schedule reveal. That is one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my freaking life. Like, even before the schedule reveal, I already loved the Chargers social media team because they're just hilarious and they just do it above.
Yeah.
They're better than every other NFL team. But that schedule reveal, like the first few minutes of the video already had me locked. It was like, oh, this is great. This is fantastic. But when they showed the Jaguars, Urban Meyer in the bar for week 3, I absolutely lost my mind. And I'm like, this is it. I'm in for life. I'm in it. Let's get it.
They didn't hold back whatsoever.
I loved it.
Which is perfect.
It was fantastic. As for Miami, I already mentioned why for Hawaii. You know, Colt Brennan's one of my favorite college quarterbacks of all time. You know, rest in peace. That was so fun to watch then. Great. Some of the best jerseys in college football, hands down.
Yep.
For the NFL, it just ties into, you know, because I started off more of an NFL fan before college. So it just really kind of starts into like the players in the NFL that I grew to love, like Devin Hester, like Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Santana Moss, Clinton Portis, Willis McGahee, you know, all coming from Miami. So I just grew to love it because of that. Duke Johnson, when he was in Miami, was awesome to watch. Shame he isn't panned out in the NFL. So it just kind of worked out that way. You know, I'm not loyal to a city. The only city I'm loyal to would be Orlando because I love vacationing there. So I'm not saying UCF's one of my favorite teams, but I love to see them succeed. Orlando Magic. Hopefully they'll figure shit out one day. This new Orlando XFL team, that's going to be my squad when the XFL comes back. But other than that, I can't
wait for that, by the way.
I'm pumped. I'm ready for the XFL. I'm very, very excited for it. So I'm not loyal to a city. I mean, basketball, Boston 1, Orlando 2, which is funny because I just criticized Steve earlier for having 2 favorite teams in NFC, and here I am with 2 favorite teams in the East. But either way, I'm not a big basketball guy, so fuck off. And then for hockey, the LA Kings out in Los Angeles randomly.
Ooh.
Yep. Listen, I have a story. I have a story for the Kings. And the story would make sense why you'd be like, okay, I get why you're a Kings fan. I have a story. So I had a friend, right, who is a diehard hockey fan. Like, diehard. Okay. I know nothing. I am an idiot. I don't know players for shit. Okay, I say I'm a Kings fan. I just want to see him succeed. Besides like Jonathan Brown, who just retired, and Jonathan Quick, or Dustin Brown, sorry. Dustin Brown, Jonathan Quick, I couldn't tell you a Kings player. I just don't know. So he's a big hockey guy. Him and his family do playoff predictions every single year, whatever. And I would always ask, like, oh, you know, how's so-and-so doing, whatever, you know, and it's, you know, just kind of whatever. So it was, I think, 2011. Because I was a junior. It was leading to the Stanley Cup. I think it was the Bruins, and I think the Canucks is who I think it was. And his number 2 team was the Canucks. So I was like, oh, you know, who's in the Stanley Cup? Oh, these teams. Oh, who do you think is going to win? I think the Canucks are going to win because this, and this. And I said, nah, the Bruins are going to win. Just to fuck with them. You know, I'm just trying to fuck with them. What happens? They win. All right, then that's the Stanley Cup. That's not a big deal, right? Whatever. Yeah. You called it there. Next year, fast forward to our senior year, 2012, right? Start of the playoffs. He runs through the entire playoffs for me at lunch. And he starts running through everything, and I ask him, what's his opinion on this? What's his opinion on this? You know, the East and West, whatever. So he gives me his opinions, and naturally he goes with Canucks again because they were a good team, and that's his number 2 team, whatever. They're playing the Kings round 1. So I said, nah, the Kings are gonna beat them. Kings are gonna beat them. They beat the Kings, and then from that point on, I just kept saying, hey, they already beat the best. Now they just gotta beat the rest, and they go on to win the Stanley Cup. And because of that, they stuck by me when I needed it for a meme, and I can never abandon them.
Oh, Lord.
I got to support a good meme. And that's why I'm a Kings fan. They were there for me when I needed it, man. Just for shits and gigs. Oh, my gosh. All right. So, anyway, back to college football, though. Any other thoughts that you want to throw out there with any of the college games this weekend? Maybe anything that we didn't talk about that you want to kind of throw out there? Maybe like Texas Tech beating Houston? What'd you think about that? I think Texas Tech is a lot better than people give them credit for.
Yeah, their offense is lights out.
Yep.
Houston, way overrated going into the season.
That's fair. That's fair. Last year, I think it was fair for them to go the way they did. You know, I think it was completely understandable with the talent they had, but I think they're coming in this year. Now, I will say in terms of like Texas teams and disappointments though. The one team that's disappointed the shit out of me is UTSA. I am
Oh
so
yeah.
disappointed with how they're playing. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I expected so much more out of Frank Harris and this team, and they barely win against Army. Like I don't know what we're doing, man. I don't know
Hey
what we're
man, you
doing.
gotta watch. You gotta watch out for that triple option.
I swear to God. And then they also lost to Houston week 1, which that was a triple overtime game, so you can't really.
Yeah.
It was a good game, very good game. But anyway, yeah. Any other thoughts on college football stuff? Any games you want to shout out that we didn't shout about?
You guys should have scored more on Michigan.
Man, come on. Oh, I know, man. Look, we're so bad. We lost so much talent, man.
Oh yeah, you guys are depleted right now. You guys, I would say Houston, Cincy, and I'll stick Hawaii in there. You three are in the same basket right now. Lost a lot of talent
Yeah.
and not enough to reload for the next season.
Yeah, dude. Hawaii lost so much in transfer because of just how shitty that last regime was. Like we lost so many players and really gained nothing out of it. I mean, the one thing we gained was Joey Yellen, the quarterback. He was a backup, like a third stringer at Pitt. Great, cool. I mean, he didn't do shit this past weekend. So I mean, like it's gonna be a rebuild for us for a couple years to come, which hopefully by the time that Aloha Stadium comes, reopens, Aloha Stadium, like hopefully then maybe we'll be decent, because they are
Yeah.
currently rebuilding it, revitalizing. We're currently playing at basically a practice field at this point. Really kills me going on to college football revamp now because they updated it where you are at that practice field. I'm like, I don't even want to play here anymore. I feel like I'm at a high school field, but whatever. Anyway.
I mean, I will say right now the Mountain West Conference is it's not great right now. It's not. I think
No,
Air
it's
Force
not.
is probably the best team in conference.
Yeah, I think Air Force would be the top team. I know Tyler would probably like to throw out there his Wyoming Cowboys, his number 2 team there. But I would very much disagree. Wyoming stinks, and they're going to lose to Hawaii. Yeah, shut up, Tyler. Yep, he threw it out there. No, Wyoming stinks. They're going to lose to Hawaii. Just calling it now. I will say a team that in the Mountain West that I feel like should be doing better, and I don't think they're doing bad, is San Jose State. They did get Hawaii's transfer quarterback, Chavon Cordero. So I would like to see San Jose State do better in that regard, even though it's just at the same time it's like one of our rivals, so it's like, oh fuck you, but it's just like at the same time you would expect them to do a little bit better. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
so I don't know. Mountain West, a lot of the group of fives are in wild spots, except for the Sun Belt. Sun Belt's just like, damn, this conference is here for it. MAC's going to continue to exist in their own bubble. They always have. They do good at that. They get their shit wrecked by other conference teams at the beginning of the year, and then after that, they leave everyone else alone. And they just do their thing and they succeed at it.
That conference championship game is one of the best conference championship games you'll ever watch.
Really?
Honestly.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
It's so competitive with those teams.
Dude, MAC is like, I'm telling you, they're their own thing. Like it's really wild to think about because like you think about all the other group of 5 conferences, right? And they're all like they're all competing with within themselves, but it's like they're trying to compete with each other. Obviously, I'm telling you, the MAC is doing their own fucking thing. Like they really are. Like they feel like the outlier of just like, we're just gonna do our thing, you do your thing. We'll get our shit wrecked. At the beginning of the season, we'll move on. It's fine.
Yep.
I will say I do actually have NIU winning the MAC this year. But funny,
Really?
But funny enough, though, they were the only division winner I had, conference winner I had that did not get double-digit wins. I had everyone else getting double-digit wins, even Mountain West, because a team that's disappointing the shit out of me is Utah State.
Oh yeah, big time.
I had Utah State losing 1 game, and that was obviously Alabama. After that, I thought they were going to win every other game. What happened?
Damn, dude. I have Air Force winning that conference with 10 wins this year.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I had NIU going 8-4. I don't remember the 4 losses, but that's what I had NIU going and winning the MAC.
8-4. Who would you think they would go against in the MAC championship?
I wish I could tell you. I honestly don't remember. Let me pull up the MAC real quick. That was a while ago. I don't actually. You know what? Hold on. I think I have it in notes. I think I have it in my notes. Let me see if I do. Notes list. Oh yeah, college predictions. I do. Look at that. I'm actually prepared for once. Oh shit. Okay, never mind. I'm not prepared. I only have the winner. All right, back to the original plan. We're pulling up the conference. Back to the original plan. All right, so who was it? So NIU is in the West. I had them going up against, I believe, Kent State or Miami. I honestly don't remember. It was one of the two. Could not tell you, honestly. That's me making a fucking ballpark guess. Shane was a year early on firing Blake. Yeah, he was. Shane was pitching fire Blake Anderson last year when they were fucking rocking. But Tyler said BRB looking. I think he's gonna try to figure out who I had him winning against. Good luck. I don't know if you can find it, man. But yeah, okay. Last thoughts on college. If not, we'll hop into a couple quick points and we'll get into predictions, baby.
Let's do it.
All right, so a couple other payday shout out. Colts O lineman Quentin Nelson got a 4-year extension, $20 million per year, $60 million guaranteed. Definitely deserve it. Probably the best O lineman in the league. And then Raiders tight end Darren Waller got his 3-year, $51 million extension, which everyone was kind of expecting. He was kind of the last piece of the puzzle. Everyone else got paid. Derek got paid. Devontae got paid. Hunter Renfrow got paid. You know, he was kind of the last piece of the remaining puzzle. Obviously, with Josh Jacobs, he doesn't expect a return, so it makes sense that he has not been paid. So, but yeah, it's kind of expected though. Last piece of the puzzle. Yeah. But anyway, with that, I feel like we can probably get into picks now. So I know on the script that I have, they're definitely not in the order I'm about to go through, but I'm gonna go based on the website because I'm doing my picks as we go. So just bear with me here. Besides the game of the weeks, I will save those for last. All right, so kicking things off, Florida State and Louisville. How you feeling about it?
You're gonna hate this so much.
Oh no, we had such a good show. We had such a good show, and you're gonna do this to
me. No, I'm not actually. I'm going Louisville.
Okay, good. West Kentucky and Indiana. You know, Indiana shocked the shit out of me when they beat Illinois week 1. I was watching that game. It was a great game to watch. Shocked the hell out of me. I think I'm going to rock with Indiana. Let's get it.
Same here.
Okay. Now, this one's an interesting game, man. Purdue and Syracuse. Ricky threw this one in there. The line is basically dead ass even. Syracuse is very, very good, at home. So, and Purdue is like, they're always just a random ass team. Where it's like they could be good. They have they're good at upsets. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
yeah. So how are you feeling this one? I kind of want to rock with Syracuse.
I think Purdue has a better offense. I think Syracuse has a better defense.
Okay.
But I don't think Syracuse is going to be able to keep up with the Purdue offense. I'm going Purdue.
I'm going to go Syracuse. And Shane asked if you can hop in. Of course you can, man. You're host of the show. Get your ass in here if you're available.
No, you're not allowed. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, he's here. Shane, man, how are you doing, buddy? Hopefully your day is going well.
Yeah, making it. How y'all doing?
I'm doing well, man.
Pretty damn good. Best I can be at this point.
Yeah, I got you. Tough. It's a tough Sunday for Cowboys fans. It's okay.
It's gonna be a tough year, man. I just need to get used to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long year for you, man. All right, so Shane, you're in here for the picks. Do you want to shout out your picks for those first 3 you went through?
Yeah, I'll just real quick. I got Louisville. You did, and then it was Purdue and Syracuse.
Yeah, and then also West Kentucky and Indiana. Those are the next 2 games.
Yeah, I got Louisville, Western Kentucky, and Purdue.
Okay. All right, next up, BYU at Oregon. Like I mentioned earlier, Oregon is favored right now because they are at home. Shane, this is your number 2 team. How are you feeling this one? You gonna rock with the Ducks? Or you gonna rock with BYU here?
Man, Oregon let me down. Like, I thought their defense was going to take another step up and pretty much run through the Pac-12 and amongst everybody else. And I kind of want to say it's not really on Oregon. I think they have taken a step up, but I think it was just a matter of fact that Georgia, we did not expect them to reload and not be in a rebuilding stage, especially on that defensive side of the ball, losing 8 players last year to the draft.
Losing almost everyone.
Yeah. So I mean, when you lose 8 of 11 starters or whatever it was, It's nobody could have seen or thought, yep, we're going to be just as good. Actually, you know what? Not just as good, better than we were last year. Like no one could have actually seen that coming. Um, but I think I'm gonna stick with Oregon. I think they need a significant good win to help boost their playoff chances if they win out, and I think BYU could be a significant one.
Okay. Okay. What about you, Jacob? How you feeling on it?
2 names come out in my mind that are going to lose this game for their team.
Okay.
2 names. Bo Nix
There you go.
and Sean Dollars.
Okay.
BYU all the way. Go Mormons.
Go Mormons.
I
No,
mean, go ahead, Shane.
now don't get me wrong, BYU is very capable of winning this game. But really if Oregon does lose it, it will be because of Bo Nix. Don't get me wrong.
Don't get me wrong. That's true.
There's a reason why Auburn let him go so easily.
Man, going into it, I was originally going to go with Oregon, but like, I don't know. Talking with Jacob, it did remind me that, oh, yeah, BYU did beat Baylor. And I really thought they were going to potentially be a college football, playoff contender team. Shane, as you agree with me, and even Ricky did. We all thought Baylor could be. So BYU might be a
Yep.
little bit better than we thought. I think I'm going to rock with BYU on this one, personally. Next up, we have Tyler's Nittany Lions, ranked 22nd in the nation, going to visit Auburn. How are we feeling about this one, boys?
What's the point spread on this? Because I think Auburn might make it a little bit closer because they have home field advantage. But at the end of the day, I'm rocking with Penn State.
Give me the Nittany Lions. Let's rock with it.
Absolutely. Let's go Nittany Lions, baby.
All right, Vanderbilt and Northern Illinois, Jacob.
Ooh.
Yeah, here you go. Here you go.
Vanderbilt screwed me over. I could have won $5K last week
What?
on a $5 bet.
Oh, man.
2 words. Fuck Vandy. Let's go Northern Illinois, baby.
I don't know which way I want to go here, man, because like I got a front row seat to and for the orgy, with Vanderbilt, against Hawaii. That was Hawaii though. Vanderbilt laid a massive egg, against Wake Forest, which again, Sam Hartman's a guy, so it makes sense. I'm gonna rock with the Huskies. Shout out to my dog Lucario. He's a Husky, so let's rock with the Huskies. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna rock with NIU as well.
All right.
That's what I love to hear, boys.
Let's get it.
Go.
All right, next up, Kansas at Houston.
I'll start this one off. I'll start it off. Kansas surprised me with their win from this past weekend. So you know what? Fuck Houston. I'm going Kansas, baby. I'm fucking doing it.
It's going to be another 50-plus point game
Ooh.
for Kansas. Let's go Jayhawks.
Let me say this right now. Like we said earlier about the Lions, they are not the same old Lions. These are not the same old Jayhawks, baby. Let's go Kansas. Let's get it.
Let's go.
Mississippi State at LSU. You think Brian Kelly is going to ring it in with his family? I'm gonna go with the Bulldogs on this one. I think Mississippi. I don't think they're a fantastic team, but I think they are better than people give them credit for. And I feel like honestly, I don't like Brian Kelly. I'll just say that up front. So I think that's part of my logic here. I'm not gonna try to draw out this mindset. Fuck the LSU Tigers. Fuck Brian Kelly.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. Bulldogs all the way again with this game.
This is pretty much fighting for what, in my opinion, is middle of the pack SEC teams. And I think right now with Mississippi State having Mike Leach, LSU having a first-year coach in Brian Kelly, especially how their special teams looked over the last 2 weeks, you've got to go Bulldogs.
Right on. Love it. Love it. Next up, Texas Tech at 16th ranked NC State.
I'm gonna go Red Raiders. Like you
Ooh,
said, they've kind of been underappreciated these first 2 weeks. And I didn't see NC State's game this past weekend, but that first game they played,
against ECU.
who was it? I forgot. Yeah,
ECU. Yeah,
they did not look very good.
they
They did
laid an
not look
egg,
like a
man.
number 16 team in the country. I'm gonna go Red Raiders.
I wholeheartedly agree with you, man. With 100%. Most overrated team in the top 25. Let's go Red Raiders.
Man, like I told you earlier, Jacob, all of us here at ATFS were very high on NC State coming into this year. Very, very high. But they have just laid the most massive egg. So give me the Red Raiders. They're going to get this dub and get this upset. Let's get it. SMU at Maryland. Are we going to rock with Tua's brother here? Or are we going to stick with the Mustangs? Or that's their name, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Mustangs.
I'll put it this way. Two words. Chad Morris. Let's go Maryland.
I like that. I like that.
Really?
Let's go. I'm rocking with the Terps and Tulia, cause Chad Morris. Fuck it. Moving on.
Ooh, man. That SMU offense is going to be way too much for Maryland.
Ooh, okay. They're rocking with SMU. All right, I like
I
it.
just realized I'm picking a lot of away teams right now. Oh boy.
You're playing a dangerous game right now, man. I think I'm going to rock with Maryland, even though I have a slight hatred for them thanks to Brady and one of our NCAA dynasties, but that's a different conversation for a different day. But I'm going to rock with the Turtles here. I think they're going to get the dub. Number 11th, Michigan State at Washington. Washington is actually favored right now, -3.5.
Really?
Really,
Yes.
I would pound that. I think it goes back to what Jacob said earlier. I think they just don't know who's gonna win, so they just said, okay, we'll give 3.5 to the home team.
Oh, how is Washington favored against a top 15 team?
I think Washington's a lot better than people realize. I think I'm the one that put this game in there. Yeah, I was. And it's because I think Washington's a lot better than people realize. And I think that trend is going to remain for years to come. Because keep in mind, they did just get a 5-star recruit. Forgot his name. He's the son of a former NFL quarterback. He was a backup, though. It's not like he was a superstar. But, he was a Hurd, I think was his last name. I can't remember, though. Tyler, if you're in chat, check that for me. But I think Washington is a lot better than people realize. I pulled up some stats right now. Washington points per game 48.5, Michigan State 43.5, points allowed 6.5, Washington allowed 13. Total yards per game 463 for Michigan State and 571 for Washington. Yards allowed 281 for Michigan State, 235 for Washington. I think this Washington team is better than people realize. I think Michigan State can still get that dub. For Washington. They had a 5-star recruit this past recruiting, and he's the son of a former NFL quarterback. I just can't remember his name. But I think Michigan State can still get that dub. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout like other people might think. I think this game's gonna be very, very close.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen Washington play this year, but I watched that first game of Michigan State play, and yes, they're still a step or two below Ohio State, even though as much as I hate it. But I think they're going to be fighting for the number 2 spot, in the Big Ten. So, I think they're right there above Michigan right now. And they're going to be a team that's going to be fighting for that number 1 spot. At the end of the day, I think Ohio State's going to get it, but I can't go against Michigan State right now.
Okay.
Well, I think there's going to be one deciding factor between these two teams. That's going to be quarterback play.
Yep.
I'm looking at both of these teams, man, and I just can't. I cannot go with Peyton Thorne
Over Michael Penix Jr.
Yep, because I just know how Penix Jr. was in the Big Ten. I
Yep.
just know how he plays versus
Yep.
Peyton Thorne. Damn it, I'm going Huskies.
There we go. Let's go, baby. Washington Huskies are going to get this dub at home. I'm calling it. Let's get it. I'm here for it. All right. Last game before we get to our game of the weeks. North Dakota State, number 1 team in the FCS for like a decade plus, going up against Arizona, who's been notably one of the worst teams in the FBS. Sam Hurd would be, Sam Hurd. Yep. Yeah, Sam Hurd was the quarterback who Washington recruited. I don't remember who his dad was, something Hurd, obviously, but yeah, he was a 5-star recruit and went to Washington this past recruiting class. So just something to keep an eye on there. Washington may have some dominance for years to come. But yeah, North Dakota State, number 1 in the FCS for a lot of good reasons, going against Arizona, who's been garbage in the FBS, but have been kind of on the rise just this year. Is North Dakota State going to get that dub, or is Arizona going to shock the world? It's wild that an FBS team that is going to shock the world and beat an FCS team. That's the headline that we're going with here.
I
Go ahead, Shane.
mean, yeah. I mean, I think Arizona is a bottom feeder of the FBS level. And you got the Alabama of the FCS level, right? It's kind of like what I see Tyler mentioning, back with the NFL. He was like, "Well, why don't we just get rid of the fucking Pro Bowl and just have the winner of the XFL play the worst team in the NFL for that 30 spot,
Right.
Hey, let's get North Dakota State in the FBS. Stop trying to smack around people in the Division 2.
Hey, they're
Get them
happy
in
with
the
where they are.
FBS. North Dakota State is going to win this game. Not even a surprise. I'm saying 10 points minimum.
You know how much filthy, stinking money North Dakota State makes in the FCS?
Dude,
they
they're
would never
set.
come to the FBS.
I don't think they will
Ever.
either. I think they're very happy with where they are. But Shane brings up a good point that they all they do is just smack around people, and that's true, they do. But man, the school makes so much fucking money there. Like I don't think they would ever leave.
They just love being the bully.
They do.
Ain't
They
nothing
do.
wrong with that when it comes to sports, man. I mean, look, you're a Miami fan, convicts, dude.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Oh man, shots fired. Tyler also said comes back to coaching. Why leave when you're the man? I mean, it's true. You see that around FBS level. Pat Fitzgerald's probably never going to leave Northwestern. He's content. He gets, Northwestern gets their shit wrecked most of the time, but he's not going to get fired.
hey, they were in a Big Ten championship not too long ago, so I mean, hey.
Yeah, he ain't getting fired.
Something's working there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, this is probably gonna be a major blowout. This is probably gonna be the biggest blowout of the weekend. North Dakota State wins.
North Dakota State, go Bison. Tyler also pointed out, look at Idaho, them motherfuckers couldn't win the FBS, and they still can't win the FCS. That's true. They're one of the worst teams in the FCS. They were almost our terrible game of the week. Drake and Idaho was almost our terrible game of the week. It was very close. It was very, very close. That does bring us to our game of the weeks. So we'll kick things off with FCS game of the week. We have Joe Flacco's alma mater, the Delaware Blue Hens, going up against Rhode Island, whatever their mascot is. I have no idea. Delaware is 10th in the nation in the FCS. Rhode Island is 14th in the nation. This is going to be the biggest matchup of the week by far. But I also want to give a special shout out to this week for FCS. Ivy League has also started play. Another FCS game of the week we toured with was Yale at Holy Cross. Holy Cross, I think, is 16th in the nation right now. But yeah, Ivy League has started, so you're gonna probably get some good games here coming soon, like out of Princeton and Harvard and a few others. So they're pretty good teams. But yeah, Delaware, Rhode Island. How you guys feeling about it? Give me the Blue Hens.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I know jack diddly squat about either one of these teams. So this is what I'm gonna go based off of. I like Joe Flacco as a quarterback, or at least did. So I'm going Delaware.
Let's go, baby, Blue Hens.
Oh Lord, Rhode Island Rams, by the way, and Holy Cross is 12th.
Ah, okay.
For the
All
nation.
right, there you go.
Let's go Rams.
Ooh,
That's all I gotta say.
Okay,
Rhode Island's
okay.
gonna win this one.
Okay. All right, that's the point, Shannon Mac. That's why I created the game. I mean, that's true. Tyler did create the FCS games because we don't fucking know about it. So it spices up the picks. We don't know about it. Besides like 2 or 3 teams, we don't know anything about FCS. I'll be up front. Like we know about North Dakota State, we know about Montana, we know about Montana State, we know about South Dakota State. Basically, we know about those 2 states is all we know about. Every once in a while, like UC Davis was kind of okay last year. Now they're kind of sucking a little bit. We know about a couple of Ivy League teams because Princeton and Dartmouth and Harvard, they're pretty solid. But other than that, FCS, I don't fucking know, man. Jackson State, obviously, everyone knows about that one. Yeah. So, waiting on that first D5 game. All right, now here's the thing, Tyler. I know you're a big fan of really diving into those deep division games, but I don't think we can actually do that anymore because the website only has FBS and FCS. So unless they happen to be playing an FBS or FCS school, I can't pick that game as part of our list anymore. So I'm sorry, Tyler. Your time has come to a close with those random D3, D4, D5, D99 schools. Anyway, all right, our FBS game of the week. Number 13th ranked Miami at number 24th, Texas A&M. You guys already know what it's all about. Let's go. Miami. Even though I'm nervous, still locking it in.
I mean, I'll just say this. I've been pounding this since last year when Arkansas beat, Texas A&M, and really started pounding it when, they spent all this money on these recruits. Texas A&M is the definition of mediocre university. So I'm going to U, Miami all day.
Let's get it. Let's go. Don't do it.
Nah, I can't do it. I can't pick Texas A&M.
Let's go. Let's go, baby. Love to see it. $100 million buyout. Jimbo ain't going nowhere. Oh, that's true. That's a big ass buyout. That's true. Shit. All right. And lastly, our terrible game of the week. Shout out to Rookie for throwing this one in for me. Stony Brook Seawolves at the U.S. Minutemen, who are easily the worst FBS school in FBS play. And it ain't close. Stony Brook's not terrible, but they're not good. You look at 2021, they had 7 losses last year, only 5 wins. They're not a great team. But you look at the Minutemen as well. They had 1 win last year, and it was against UConn, which is another bottom feeder. I mean, and not to mention, you look at UMass, they lost to other FCS schools like Rhode Island and Maine being 2 examples that immediately stick out. So, this is just a game of possibly the worst school in the FBS going up against a mediocre FCS school. So it's just like, who's going to come out on top on this one? Our first terrible game. That's true.
Just because I like their mascot, the Minutemen, I'm going with UMass.
Yeah, what the hell is a sea wolf?
Shane, I could make a nice sex joke right now. I want you to know that, but I'm gonna leave it alone.
See, that was the point, Alex. Look, I'm Dwayne Wade, and I threw up the lob for you. You're supposed to be LeBron James, and just
I didn't want to dunk you that hard.
Okay? Oh, come on now! Don't say that, man. Oh, don't say that. Hey, at least my Dallas Mavericks won that year.
That's true.
Okay, dude. 2012 didn't count. Okay. Don't want to fucking talk about it. Dirk is a Greek god or whatever the fuck he's from.
I'm going to pick a team here specifically because they picked one of my, I would say, top 5 favorite guilty pleasure teams to root for last year. I'm picking Stony Brook. And if you're wondering what team I'm talking about Richmond.
Yeah, the Spiders. Yep. I'm going to go with the Seawolves, baby. I think they're going to get that dub. I think UMass stinks. I think they're going to be terrible for a very, very long. They should have not come up to FBS play. I don't know how good they were at FCS level. I'm assuming still shit, but they should have never come up to FBS level. I don't know the value in that, because even as bad as they are you really making money? Like, you're probably making more, yeah, but are you actually making money? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Whatever. All right, so college picks locked in. Let's have it to the NFL. Starting off with the beautiful Thursday night football game of Chargers and Kansas City. Cannot wait to watch this. How we feeling on it?
This one's tough. I thought Kansas City was going to take a step back, but clearly they did not. Patrick Mahomes looks just as good as he ever has. Um, but the LA Chargers defense is a different level.
Khalil Mack 3
you
sacks,
know,
baby. Let's go.
yeah. So I'm gonna rock with the Chargers here.
Exactly what Shane said. LA Chargers defense is going to be way too smothering for the Kansas City offense. Let's go Bolts.
I want to go Bolts, but at the same time, Kansas City at home is what scares me. You know what I mean? You know that home field advantage for them is massive.
Yeah, that tiny little screen that they have.
Yeah,
The super tiny screen.
I feel like KC and Chargers are going to split their series this year. I do, and I think it's going to be at home games personally. So I think the Chiefs are going to win this game. But for the simple sake of things, I'm going Bolts because go Bolts, baby, bolt up. But I want the record to be known. It will not shock me in the slightest if KC wins this one and Chargers win the next one. Like, I think if they're going to split the series, it's going to be the home games. All right, Carolina at New York. New York, who shocked the world and beat the Titans this weekend.
You know what? Baker let me down, and
that was your one chance with Baker.
Yeah, Baker let me down once more, and this time it was a straw. I'm done with it. So Danny Dimes, the New York Giants, probably for the first time in many, many years, is going to start 2-0.
Trying to think about when they were 2-0 last.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Give me them New Jersey Football Giants.
I'm gonna have to join up with you guys. Give me the New Jersey Football Giants. Next up, New England at Pittsburgh. New England looked fucking terrible. I feel like New England's not going to turn it on until like week 6. Give me the fucking Steelers and Mike Tomlin. Even though they had some losses on defense, TJ Watt and stuff, I feel like Steelers are going to still get this dub.
I agree. I'm with you.
If Mac Jones returns this week, New England's going to win. If he doesn't, Steelers are going to win. I don't think he's going to return this week, so I'm going Steelers.
Okay. Tampa Bay at New Orleans. This is kind of an interesting matchup, honestly. New Orleans has Tom Brady's number since he's come to the South. Except for the playoff game.
Yeah, and I agree. And honestly, Tampa did not look very good. Not like their normal selves. I think 90% of that game, Tom Brady was cussing at his offensive line. So I think that continues because that defensive 7 for New Orleans could cause havoc if they were getting, no offense, but kind of beat up by the Dallas Cowboys here and there.
Right.
So I'm going Saints.
I'm going Saints as well. Yep.
Are we forgetting about
I know
how bad they looked against the Falcons last week?
I know.
Against the Falcons that people thought were going to go 0-17 this year.
Listen. I just think the Saints it's kind of like the Jaguars, man, with the Colts. It's just the Saints are Tom Brady's regular season kryptonite while he's been in the South. That's the only reason, my only logic behind it. And I'm going to ride with that logic until it fails me.
It's going to fail you this week.
It might.
Let's go Tampa Bay.
All right. New York Jets at Cleveland. Give me Cleveland. Jets stink.
Yeah, Cleveland.
Jets are so bad.
I want to pick the Jets here so bad.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I want to pick the Jets so bad as the upset of the week. You know what? Put it down in the books that I did say the Jets will be the upset of the week this week, but I'm going to pick Cleveland here.
Okay. Miami at Baltimore. This is going to be a good game. I like this game. I like this matchup.
I do too. And I'm gonna go Miami on this.
Is J.K. Dobbins back this week?
I don't think so.
I don't believe so.
No, then I'm going Miami then if he's not.
Okay. I'm going Baltimore. Yeah, I'm going Baltimore. I'm gonna take Lamar Jackson over Tua. That's my mindset. Washington at Detroit. Give me the Lions, baby. This is not the same old Lions team. Let's rock with them.
I will say they are the same old Lions team. They are
No.
0-1, so I will go with the
No.
Commanders
No.
because
No. No.
Carson Wentz actually did not look half bad in that first week's game. So
Well, yeah,
I'd
you
like
saw
to
who
see
he
him
was
continue.
against. He had PTSD.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that there's going to be one NFC East team that starts the season 4-0, and I think it will be Washington. I'm going to go with Washington here.
All right,
Even though I want to pick the Lions so bad.
I'm the lone wolf here. Let's go Lions. Colts and Jacksonville.
Indianapolis disappointed me. They did not look that great. At least for what, here at ATFS, what we held them up to.
True.
But at the end of the day, and actually, Trayvon Walker, I think they're kind of for one game, they're happy that they got him for the number one pick because he was doing things for that Jacksonville defense.
Yep.
But I'm gonna go Indianapolis. Hopefully they bounce back. Hopefully it was just the first game jitters, getting used to a new quarterback, this and that. And at the end of the day, they do have, in my opinion, the best running back in the league right now, in Jonathan Taylor. So I'm gonna go Indianapolis.
Yeah, Jacksonville is worse than the Texans. Let's go Indianapolis.
All right, hold on. Let's relax. All right, let's relax a little bit. Let's go, Jags, baby. Duval locking it in. We are the Colts kryptonite. The bottom line is, even if we lose this game, we're gonna win the next one. Book it. We're gonna split the series at least because we are the Colts kryptonite. Book it. Colts are about to start 0-2 once they come into Duval County. Next up, Atlanta at LA. Give me the Rams. But I kind of want to pick the Falcons, but I'm going with Rams.
I'm going with the Falcons.
Ooh.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've always been a Marcus Mariota fan. I would love for him to come out and throw for 303 touchdowns. But it's not happening on this Rams defense. So,
all right, Seattle, who shocked the world against San Fran. Are they going to shock the world again?
I mean, Geno did not look too half bad. I didn't catch the whole game, but I caught the last.
He didn't look bad. I watched the whole game.
Yeah,
he
didn't look bad at all. From what I saw, I mean, I watched like the whole fourth quarter and like the last like 2.5 minutes of the third. And San Fran, Trey Lance did not excite me at all from what I've seen from him in that first game. So I'm going to go Seattle starting off 2-0.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer we'll see Garoppolo by Halloween. Let's go Seattle.
You know what? I want to rock with Seattle, but one thing that scares me is they lost Jamal Adams for a significant amount of time. It hasn't been confirmed how long, but you know what? Give me the Seahawks. Let's run with it. I'm going with Seahawks. Houston at Denver. Give me the Broncos.
Yeah, I think right now it's this battle of the bads, and I just think Denver's just a little bit better at being less bad than what Houston is. So, going Denver.
I got a root for my baby brother in Texas. Let's go Houston.
Okay. Arizona at Vegas. Give me Vegas on this one.
Yeah, if Devontae Adams is able to put up a game even somewhat similar to what he did, this past week, Vegas is going to walk away with this win.
Yeah, I'm going Vegas. They definitely need to throw a little bit more to Hunter Renfrow, though, please, because he's on my fantasy team and he got me like 2 points.
Oh my God, that's rough. All right, next up, Jacob. Cincinnati at Dallas. Give me Cincy. It's easy. No Dak, man.
Yeah, I mean, with Dak, I would maybe have a conversation with myself and pick in Dallas if the game was a little bit closer. But unfortunately, I don't believe in Cooper Rush right now. Going Cincinnati.
By the end of this game, we will see Ben DiNucci, our third string quarterback, because Cooper Rush is going to get hurt by either Sam Hubbard or Trey Hendrickson. Let's go Cincy.
Chicago at Green Bay for Sunday Night Football.
Kind of the opposite with San Francisco. Justin Fields really excited me for what he's shown on the field in week 1. And that big question mark that I had for Green Bay coming into the season was those weapons. are still a big question mark. They did not show up. They did not catch balls. They were mistiming routes. I'm gonna have to go Chicago.
Is the Chicago Bears cornerbacks at least a C plus rating? Would you give them a C plus or better?
I would give them actually, yeah, I'd give them a C plus at the very. I'd give them a C plus, man. I like Jalen Johnson a lot, and I love Kyler Gordon, and I love Jaquan Brisker at safety too. I feel like Jaquan Brisker is going to give us the same sort of energy that Adrian Amos gave us, which was so important because when we had Amos, that allowed Eddie to be Eddie at free. Once we got rid of Amos and let him walk, and we tried to bring in HaHa Clinton Dix, who refused to play strong safety, and we had to shift Eddie to strong, that's when Eddie went, now has gone like 20 games without a fucking interception. So I love our secondary. I really do.
You've convinced me. Let's go Bears.
Just because everyone else is on it, I'd feel bad if I was the only one that wasn't. The Bears, baby. It's the Packers. Fuck the Packers. Let's go Bears. Let's get it. All right, now 2 Monday night games in week 2. Very weird. That's normally week 1. So when I had to double check this 3 times to make sure websites didn't have typos because I was like, that's very strange to me. Tennessee at Buffalo is the first one. Give me Buffalo. Buffalo's a Super Bowl favorite, man. Easy.
Yeah, Buffalo is literally, I think, the best team in the NFL right now. And I think, they're steps ahead of whoever is second right now. They were firing on all cylinders. I'm gonna have to go Buffalo.
I will agree with you guys that Buffalo is Super Bowl favorites, but in true Buffalo fashion, they will make it the Super Bowl and lose the Super Bowl.
Oh no!
But I've still picked them here to win.
Okay.
4 years in a row. I'll just point that out.
I know. Poor Tyler. All right. Last Monday night game, Minnesota at Philadelphia. That's gonna be a very good game. I feel like I want to rock with Minnesota after what they showed. I feel like both teams are very, very good. I feel like it's gonna be close, but give me the Vikings on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go Vikings as well.
Yeah, let's go. All 3 of us Vikings.
Yeah, there we go. All right. I don't want to do any betting. I don't want to shout anything out. And I don't really want to shout out fantasy right now because I got my shit wrecked. So I'd rather not talk about it. Plus, it's over a 2-hour show now. So I think we're going to wrap things up. Shane, thanks for stopping in. I know that you've had some stuff, pop up you had to take care of. So appreciate you for stepping in for the picks. Hopefully everything's going well. And Jacob, definitely appreciate you for stepping in to help run the show today. That was a nice Hail Mary that you caught there.
Hey, not a problem. Love to be here, man.
It was a great show, honestly. Shane, how much of this did you actually get to watch?
From the time that I typed in chat until now.
Okay.
So.
All right. Yeah. So it's been a great show. I definitely recommend you go back and re-listen to it. It's been a great show. Shout out to Jacob.
So.
Jacob did phenomenal. Appreciate you, Jacob. All right. I'm going to hit the music. We're going to work our way out of here. So, boys, last thoughts.
Nothing. Just y'all have a great night. Look forward to the games this week. Look forward to mediocre Texas A&M University losing again and watching that giant dumpster fire get sent over a cliff. So look forward to that. And yeah, y'all have a great night. Peace out.
Later, man. Appreciate you.
I wrote something back here. I don't know if you guys can read it, but it says, "Will someone please save me from Jerry Jones?"
Yeah, I can see it.
That's
now.
all I have to say. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, man.
Can't wait to be back.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate the hell out of you for making it, and I appreciate the hell out of anyone that made it all the way to the end, whether if you watched it live or listened to it after the fact. We appreciate the hell out of you. It's going to be an amazing week of football once again. Football is all the way back. Hopefully, we're going to have another weekend of a lot of insane upsets and insane things happening. Till next time, guys, have a good one. See ya.